The sky was still tinted gray, that strange, sleepy color between night and dawn. My hands were shaking from the cold, my mind still buzzing from 12 hours of fluorescent hospital lights and beeping monitors. I just wanted my bed, my peace, my home. But when I stepped out of the car, I heard laughter, male laughter, followed by my sister's sugary voice. And, of course, the backyard's included. She won't be a problem.
She?
I froze. Through the living room window, I saw them. My dad, my sister Chloe, and a tall man in a suit holding papers. They were smiling. In my house. The house I'd bought after years of saving from double shifts. The house whose mortgage I alone had signed. Dad pointed toward the kitchen. She's barely ever here. Works all night. Won't even notice it's gone. My vision blurred for a second.
Gone?
Chloe laughed, flipping her perfect blonde hair.
Exactly.
We'll just say she couldn't afford it anymore. He'll pay cash. My jaw locked. I stepped quietly to the door and opened it just enough for the hinges to creak. All three heads turned. Emily, Dad's voice cracked into fake surprise. You're home early. The buyer smiled politely. Chloe froze, clutching her fake smile like a shield. I dropped my bag on the floor. My voice was calm. Don't stop on my account. For a moment, no one spoke. The tension in the room thickened, swirling like smoke. The man in the suit, clearly the potential buyer, cleared his throat, trying to keep things professional. I was told this property was for immediate sale. Are you Ms. Emily Carter? I smiled, the kind of slow, dangerous smile that made my fellow nurses step back when I was about to lose patience. Yes, that's me, I said softly. The owner. Chloe's face drained of color. Wait, Emily, let me explain. I held up a hand. Explain what? That you're selling my house? Dad stepped in front of her, puffing his chest out like a man who still thought authority came with age. Watch your tone, young lady. This house belongs to the family. You wouldn't have it without me. Oh, you mean the down payment? I said. The one I paid while you two were on vacation in Cabo? The buyer blinked, awkward. So, there's the dispute? There's no dispute, I replied, eyes locked on Dad. Just a very expensive lie. Dad muttered something under his breath about ungrateful children. Chloe tried again, her voice trembling now. Please, we were just trying to profit, I finished. You were trying to profit off the one person who actually worked for this roof. I turned to the man in the suit, my smile returning, sharp as glass.
Sales off, I said.
And you might want to leave before someone gets punched. The man didn't hesitate. He muttered something about miscommunication, grabbed his briefcase, and bolted out the door like it was on fire. The moment the door clicked shut, the air exploded. Dad slammed his hand on the table. You just cost us everything. Do you know what we could have gotten for this place? I stared at him. Do you know what I paid for this place? Chloe scoffed, folding her arms. You always act like you're some hero just because you work night shifts. Dad's been struggling, and you're sitting here guarding your money like it's gold. I took a slow step toward her. My money is gold. It bought this house. It fed you both when Dad's investments tanked. It paid your tuition when your scholarship fell through. Her lips trembled. You said that was a gift. It was, I said coldly, until you decided to sell the person who gave it. Dad's voice grew louder. You wouldn't have anything without me. I built this family. I snapped. Then why are you always tearing it down? The silence after that was so sharp it hurt. Dad's face went red, his fists clenching. You ungrateful brat. I moved first, my voice low, even dangerous. You raised that hand, and I swear I'll remind you I work in trauma. I've seen what happens to men who underestimate women. Chloe's eyes widened. Dad froze. And for once, I wasn't afraid. The silence was deafening, the kind that hums in your ears when rage and fear collide. Dad's hand trembled midair before he finally lowered it, muttering something about disrespectful girls. Chloe, always the actress, grabbed his arm, pretending to cry. Please, Dad, don't. She's just stressed. You know how nurses are, no sleep, no life. I almost laughed. You mean no boundaries? Her tears stopped instantly. You've changed, Emily. Yes, I said. I finally learned how to say no. I walked to the mantel and picked up a framed photo, me in scrubs, holding my first house key. Dad smiling beside me. I remembered that day. He'd said, "Proud of you, kid." Now, that same man had tried to sell it out from under me. I set the photo down gently, then turned toward them. "I'll give you both 2 hours," I said. "Pack what's yours and leave." Chloe blinked. "What?" "I'm changing the locks by noon." Dad laughed, an ugly, bitter sound. "You wouldn't dare." I stepped closer, close enough that he saw I wasn't bluffing. "You can test me if you want. But remember, I already called the police. They're aware of the attempted fraud."
So, yes, Dad.
"I dare." For a moment, no one moved. Then Chloe grabbed her purse. "You're insane." "No," I said softly, opening the door wide. "Just done being your investment." They walked out, and for the first time, the house felt like mine again. After they left, I stood in the middle of my living room, still, silent, listening to the echo of their footsteps fade down the street. The morning light filtered through the blinds, painting thin golden stripes across the floor. For the first time in years, I could breathe. But peace never lasts long when guilt starts dialing your number. By afternoon, my phone buzzed nonstop. Dad, Chloe, even Mom, who had conveniently stayed out of everything until now. "Emily, honey, your father's heart can't take this kind of stress." Mom's voice cracked through the speaker. "Can't you just let them stay a while longer? You have the space." "Mom," I said calmly, "they try to sell my house." "Your family's house," she corrected sharply. "Don't twist the story." That word, family, hit me like a trigger. Family didn't list your home online without telling you. Family didn't smile while auctioning your life's work. I hung up without another word. That night, I sat at the kitchen table and went through every document, every receipt, every proof that this house, my house, was legally mine. Then I made one final call. To my lawyer. By sunrise, restraining orders were drafted. No more visits. No more, we were just dropping by. And when Dad tried to show up that weekend, the new security system greeted him with flashing red lights and a voice that said, "You are not authorized to enter." Dad's rage exploded the next morning, not at my door, but online. He'd posted a Facebook rant about his ungrateful daughter, who'd stolen the family home. Chloe added teary emojis and a caption that said, "Some people forget what the judgment gossip." But what none of them realized was that I'd kept every message, every transaction, every screenshot from the months they drained me dry. So, instead of replying, I waited. The following day, a friend from the local paper, one of my patient's husbands, called. "Emily, I heard some noise about you online. Just so you know, your name's clean in the property registry. You want me to help set the record straight?" I hesitated, then smiled faintly. "Not yet. Let them dig their hole deeper." By Friday, the internet had turned on them. Someone leaked screenshots, their texts, bragging about selling the house behind Emily's back. The post went viral. Suddenly, Dad's Facebook disappeared. Chloe locked her account. And my phone buzzed again, this time with a message from her. "Why would you do this to us?" I typed slowly. "You taught me well, remember? Actions have consequences." Then I blocked her. That weekend, I slept in until noon, sunlight flooding my quiet, untouched living room. The silence didn't feel empty anymore. It felt earned. It felt like freedom finally had my name on the deed. Weeks passed. The noise faded. The online storm that once painted me as a villain now turned into whispers of pity, but not for me. People started seeing the truth. And in a small town, truth spreads faster than wildfire once it finally catches flame. Dad's friends stop calling. Chloe's real estate connections goes to her. Mom, the only one who hadn't taken a public stance, texted me one night. "You've embarrassed the family enough. Stop feeding gossip." I stared at the message for a while, then replied,
No, Mom.
"I just stopped covering your mistakes." That was the night everything shifted. Not because of the drama, but because of the peace that followed. A week later, I came home from another long shift and found an envelope taped to my door. Inside, a handwritten note. It was from Chloe. I messed up. I lost everything. I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm scared. And I know you're the only one who'll read this without laughing. For a moment, my heart twisted. The big sister instinct wanted to answer, to save. But I folded the note carefully and tucked it into a drawer. Forgiveness could wait. Boundaries couldn't. That night, I turned on soft music, brewed tea, and curled up on my couch, alone but whole. Sometimes justice doesn't roar. Sometimes it just quietly locks the door behind you. Months later, winter rolled in, quiet, cold, cleansing. I'd almost forgotten what life felt like without chaos until I came home one evening to find a small package on my doorstep. No note, just my name written in shaky handwriting. Inside was a photo, Chloe and me as kids, sitting in a treehouse we'd built together behind Dad's old garage. On the back, in faded blue ink, she'd written, "You were always the strong one." I just never wanted to admit it. No apology. No excuses. But somehow it was enough. I placed the photo on my nightstand, not as forgiveness, but as closure. Some wounds didn't need reopening to heal. That night, I poured myself a glass of red wine and looked around my house, my walls, my furniture, my freedom. Everything I owned had been fought for. Everything here was mine not because someone gave it, but because I refused to let it be taken. Later, I got a text from my lawyer. The property transfer dispute is officially closed. Congratulations, Ms. Carter. You're the sole owner. I smiled, whispering, finally. I stepped outside, letting the snow fall on my face, soft, silent, forgiving in its own way. Somewhere out there, maybe they'd learn too. But their lessons weren't my responsibility anymore. I'd learned mine. Peace isn't inherited. It's earned, one painful, necessary boundary at a time. And this time, no